to do with YC, but you mentioned about principles. You come across as somebody who is really intentional of what he does. I just want to know your CEO principles, your CEO mindsets.
Yeah.
I'm sure others will also benefit. Like I'm sure you have evolved over the years. Today, what are your CEO mindset principles and habits and stuff like that?
Yeah, I can actually, speak about some of them. This is actually something we ask everybody to read when they join Landeed. And also there's one more document that I have, which I call, I know it sounds a little bit narcissistic, but it's called Working with Sanjay if you report to me. It basically tells you how I want to be reported to and how you need to give your data and how you need to make your decisions and give me recommendations. The reason for that was basically we found that, like, unlike US or some of these other countries, in India, the very sense of work ethic varies by region. So for instance, how a person thinks about work, how to do work, what is work ethic, let's say is different in Bihar than it is in West Bengal, than it is in Tamil Nadu, than it is, these are all regions that I'm mentioning, right? So I have a standardized playbook on how I'd like to be reported to, what are the things that I look for. If you're going to come and approach me, what are the things you need to have in hand when you speak to me? But in terms of the actual principles in our playbook, some of them is like, our first principle is searching for core truth, cut out the fluff and the bullshit, and let's look at the performance. Effort definitely matters, but at the end, you're trying to go for an outcome. And when you fail, you want to draw the right conclusions. So one of the things is, like, even when you fail, you want to think that after the fact that it was a good bet, that there was a lot of learning to take out of that failure. Not all failure is great, regardless of what people say. So the first is that, search for core truth. Second is get shit done. At the end of the day, execution is what matters. I'm not the first that probably had idea about this, and I won't be the last that has the idea about this. And there is such a thing as falling out of product market fit. So ultimately, what you want to preach to your company is execution and ultimately getting shit done. The third is ownership mindset. So basically, we look at, hey, one of the reasons, I think a good example I can give is, let's say I have somebody that's a general manager. When they're making money on a contract, they never call me. They get the credit for it. And that's fair. They got the client and they're making money for the company. That's great. But there's this oddity that when people start losing money and know they're about to lose money on a contract, then they call me and inform me, Sanjay, we're about to lose and blah, blah, blah. Well, basically they're doing that to get comfort in the decision and acknowledgement that they're losing money. They didn't do that when they're winning. So I draw this distinction to tell them that if you really thought like an owner, you wouldn't really make certain decisions the way that you do. Everybody wants to feel like that they're an owner, but few actually take that accountability. The other thing is unfailing work ethic. Work ethic is very, very important to me. I've been in very high talent density companies before. I think there's this saying that they have now that it's not about working hard, it's about working smart. Well, that's bullshit. Almost all top tier founders are smart by design. And so, like, I saw this in school as well. There's a lot of things I could do in school that I didn't have to put in a lot of work for. But what happens is, like, you can be 90% good, maybe if you're, working smart. You can be 95% good if you're working hard, but it usually takes both of them to actually excel. Like, we expect you by default to work smart. Like, we're not trying to go out there and say we're hiring idiots. So I take that for granted. It's about whether you're going to work hard, because that's what I found gets you to that last finish line. Responding to customer emails at 2 a.m., making sure that when a customer is anxious about whether there's going to be fulfillment, even if there's going to be delayed, be upfront and inform them. And the other one I think is really important is winning matters. Failure is seen as, okay, you failed, it's okay, this happened. But winning absolutely matters in startups. Um, like in my own example, for Golori, in order for me to kind of get conviction and build that confidence, I think I used to go to these like meetups where they would have these informal pitch events. And then okay, everybody validated there. I won a few of those. Then I went to a Google, local meetup. I won the competition there. And then I went to, Draper's competition. I think I came in second place there, but Tim invested in me. That gave me the confidence. Then going into YC and winning. So if you actually look back to a venture-backed founder coming a certain distance, if you look back, there's usually a few wins along the way. And I think, I don't want to go through all of them, but and the final thing I would say is, last couple of two things I would say is do hard things and do them well. I think far too often we start early in the journey and we think, okay, let's find around these edges because shit is hard. But look, you're not gonna make that leap to like work on really hard things if you don't build that muscle early inside your company. People need to know hardships, and that means not practicing pain avoidance. That means you have to take your blows and you have to like take some pain and you have to practice being able to absorb pain. Like comfort cuts down on your optionality set and closes your perspectives. So like it's very important that you build inside your company. Don't try to find always these low-hanging fruits. They won't always exist. Do the hard shit and do them well, because that's ultimately what's going to define you when the bad things come. And bad things always come. There's always downs, no matter which startup you are. So that's really, really important. And final thing I would say is speed matters. We care a lot about this shit. If you care and you're in the right team, I will push you. So I might not be your best friend. I might not even like be very sometimes human, but like at the end of the day, the moment you come inside Landeed, by the time you decide to leave, you should be a much better person professionally, at the very least, than when you entered. That's my job. My promise is to make you generationally wealthy. Your promise is to give me everything you fucking have, and I give them the same. So if you're not getting work done at 2 a.m., it's not unusual for my staff to get calls from me at 3 a.m. But the ultimate thing is, I'm also working besides you. If you're having a hard time, I'll sit with you and make sure that it gets done. But speed is paramount to me because I don't believe any startup has a moat. So I'll just kind of leave it at there.
Sanjay, I think I'm gonna take this clipping, and this clipping is gonna get viral, okay? Because whatever you said was music to my ears. And guys, the reason we do this meetups is when you meet other successful peers in your own industry who are performing at a level that is so inspiring in such a private setup, it rubs off that magic on you. It elevates your own game. And that's why you ought to carve out time regularly to be in the room of winners. I hope we get really inspiring founders like Sanjay. Otherwise, it's very hard to beat that work ethic and that kind of high performance. Sanjay, how do you ensure that you remain at the top of high performance as a CEO? Like how do you ensure that you're not slacking? Do you have a peer group that is keeping you elevated? What are the things that you do to be on the top?